The war was over. The Cylons lost. The 1s, the 4s, the 5s, and their cadre of Centurions stationed on the colony were gone. Demolished by a nuke fired by dead colonial Raptor pilots, just as the Galactica escaped. After finding themselves orbiting a pretty blue planet with giant oceans, green savannas, majestic mountains, and plenty of drinkable water with the correct amount of oxygen-nitrogen blends to support human life, the planet orbited the Sun at just the right place in the system to have the proper temperature range to support human life. The fleet rendezvousing with the Galactica makes plans to abandon technology and essentially burn their boats like Cortez's men when they landed in the New World. There is no going back. Admiral William Adama, who's been fighting Cylons most of his life, he took his last flight off the Battlestar Galactica for the very last time. The first Battlestar he was assigned to many, many years ago. If you're new here, we cover the film genres of sci-fi, horror, action-adventure, prop culture, and all things geek. So if you want more videos like this, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be aware of my new content. Hi, I'm Rob, and this is A Constantly Racing Mind. Today, we're looking at the first Viper Admiral, then Ensign Adama, was first assigned, the Viper Mark III. Looking back at his career, we know that for some of that time as a Viper pilot in the first Cylon War, he flew the Viper Mark II. But did you know that he also flew the Viper Mark III? Now, the colonial fleet relied on the Viper series, and the Mark III was the third generation of these fighters. Now, see my videos on the Viper Mark I and II, and I'll put a link in the description for you. A single-pilot, multi-role attack spacecraft, the third generation Viper was introduced near the conclusion of the first Cylon War as a replacement for the legendary Mark II. The design of this aircraft served as an inspiration for later versions of the multi-role Vipers, which were developed in the years after the armistice and culminated in the highly sophisticated Mark VII. Now, the Mark III was meant to succeed the Mark II, but it was plagued by severe financial and material constraints throughout the war and the fighter's astronomical price tag. Therefore, the Mark III did not completely replace the Mark II by the armistice due to its low use and small numbers. By Operation Raptor Talon, battlestars like Galactica had switched back to the Mark IIs, while Mark IIIs played an essential role in the missions like the Ghost Fleet attack. It's improbable that any Mark IIIs were in operation during the 12 colonies' fall, since they were all decommissioned after the war. Let's talk about context. When Battlestar Galactica's run was over, several ideas for more Battlestar content were floated on the Sci-Fi Channel. At the time, Caprica was one of the potential shows that the Sci-Fi Channel was working on for the Battlestar Galactica franchise. Now, this one was called Battlestar Galactica Blood and Chrome, a precursor to the revamped Battlestar Galactica series. Now, the web series evolved into a pilot for a potential television show that would have followed young William Adama's early adventures, but the project was canceled. The main actors were Ben Cotton, Lily Bourdain, and Luke Pasqualino as the young gung-ho ensign Adama. Michael Taylor penned a teleplay based on a story of his, along with David Icke, Bradley Thompson, and David Weddle. Jonas Pate directed the film. Sorry about that. Blood and Chrome was first released on November 9, 2012 as a 10-episode web series associated with the Machinima.com. However, Caprica was released by the Sci-Fi Channel in 2010. That show was set 58 years before the events of the main series. Now, Caprica depicted the creation of the Cylon androids by humans, which would eventually turn against them. Now, as referenced many times during the Battlestar Galactica run, Bill Adama's father and Lee's grandfather, Joseph Adama, was a lawyer who, apparently Romo Lampkin claimed to have known, is featured as a central character in Caprica. Daniel Greystone, who developed the Cylons, was also featured in the show as a main character. The show was canceled only after one season. Now, Blood and Chrome was broadcast on February 10, 2013 as a television movie on Sci-Fi. Unfortunately, probably due to many already seeing the web series a few months earlier in 2012, they didn't bother showing up to watch it on the Sci-Fi channel. Now, February 10th was a Sunday, and at that time, The Walking Dead was crushing all other Sunday shows. I would be remiss if I didn't briefly summarize Blood and Chrome. I would have been ecstatic if they had at least gotten 1 or 2 seasons of stories about a young Bill Adama. Now, as usual, as you can see, the Eagle Moss Hero Collection comes in these attractive boxes. Now, the story opens with a young William explaining why he joined the military in a letter he wrote to his father, Joseph. Now, we see the young pilot fighting the old-style Cylon Raiders. You know, the ones where the 3 Cylon Centurions required to fly up. But alas, it's all a training simulation. Now, it is the 10th year of the First Cylon War, and Ensign William Adama arrives on a shuttle to a very less battle-scarred Battlestar Galactica, with all its battle armor still intact. And the Viper is packed in and surrounded by styrofoam cut into the Viper and stand-shaped cutouts. Acting all cocky due to his exploits in the simulator, but with no real experience, he is quickly assigned to pilot a Raptor named the Wild Weasel. He also meets Koker Fesjovic. Now, Koker's ready to go home. His second mandatory tour is almost complete, and he wants to go home to see his wife. We also meet Galactica's CEO, Commander Nash. He quickly assigns the two to make a simple supply run. It's a 4-day mission, and Adama is to avoid the enemy altogether. Instead of supplies, Adama and Koker discover that Dr. Becca Kelly, a software developer, is aboard their ship. So far, the Viper looks to be in pretty good condition. The chemistry was obvious when Adama met Becca in the showers, but when he learned that she had worked for Greystone Industries before, his emotions quickly subsided. The young Bill is unhappy about her line of work, considering she is one of the developers on the CPU upgrade project that brought the Cylons to full artificial intelligence. Now Kelly, more or less, takes over the mission from Bill and Koker. Oh yeah, Koker is now calling Bill as Husker. When I bought this thing from Amazon, it was listed as product dimensions as 13 inches by 9.5 by 5.25 inches. And the Viper is supposed to weigh about 1.82 pounds, almost 2 pounds. But as I have found out before, those measurements are not entirely accurate, so let's measure. So for the length, we have about 10.25 inches long, which is about a little over 26 centimeters, and a height of about 5.5 inches, which in metric is just a bit under 14 centimeters, and a width of 6.5 inches, otherwise known as 16.51 centimeters. Now, I like the detail of the inset portions of the Viper's fuselage. The engine detailing is rather nice too. My only peeve is that there's not a Viper jock in the cockpit. They've been ordered to keep radio silence the entire way to the Battlestar Archeron's meeting point close to the front lines. Unfortunately, an ambush had already destroyed the Archeron when they arrived. Then, Bill starts making evasive maneuvers as 3 Cylon Raiders approach them. Kelly instructs them to transmit an open frequency after dodging the enemy and informs them they cannot return to the Galactica. To enter Cylon space, they are provided with a set of coordinates. After a furious dispute, Koker agrees to comply with Adama and Kelly's demands, and the 3 set off. While in flight, Kelly tells Adama she was married to the war hero Ezra Barzel, who encouraged many young people to enroll in the academy. They discover a field of asteroids concealing a string of colonial ghost ships, ships that were believed lost when they arrived at their coordinates. Dr. Kelly meets with the commander on board the Osiris, an Orion-class battlestar, and they receive a mission briefing. Kelly is to be taken to the planet Jerba, located deep within Cylon territory, for an important assignment, and the fleet is on the way there. Since they've gone this far together, Adama is adamant that the Doctor be permitted to fly in with them. Surprisingly, a Cylon base star materializes upon their arrival above the planet. The commander decides against aborting and orders a full launch, instructing Adama and his escorts to head to the surface. The Osiris and her crew attempted to draw the fire away from the landing party. She ended up having to ram the base star and detonate their nuclear warheads manually. A fierce battle erupted, and the Vipers and the Raptors engaged in a deadly dance with several Cylon raiders. Now, the space around them was a chaotic symphony of laser fire and exploding bursts. The battle looked phenomenal. The old Cylon raiders never looked better than in this dogfight. Now, this is during the Cylon War, when the Raptors come equipped with a tail gun, and Coker takes on the gunner's role. Following a crash landing, the trio embark on a suspenseful journey toward a beacon from a Marine tactical team. Now, what is Kelly's secretive mission? Her hidden motives add a layer of mystery to the plot, keeping the audience guessing. Now, they find the remains of the Marine team in a cave on this snow-covered Hoth-like planet. Apparently, biomechanical snake-like creatures killed the Marines. Now, the only survivor, a Tech Sergeant Toth, a bomb ordnance specialist, he saves the trio and takes them off to a, believe it or not, a ski resort. Yep, Jerba was a high-end ski resort planet, taken over by the Cylons at the beginning of the war and supposedly abandoned by them. But there is a listening post, which is our traveler's main goal. After a romantic interlude between Adama and Kelly, the Cylons attack, and there is some pretty cool hand-to-hand combat between humans and Cylon. There's one particular thing. A strange-looking Cylon finds Kelly, but after scanning her dog tag, he leaves her alone. Coker takes out the Cylon. After the usual tension between Coker, Adama, and Kelly, they take off for the communication tower. If you have not seen Blood and Chrome, I don't want to spoil the rest. I like the ending and wish there had been more episodes. Hey, I want to thank everyone who stayed until the end of this video. Having multiple Vipers in my collection reminds me of when I was in my early teens and wanted to be a film director. Now, my wife suggested that I display my BSG Viper and Cylon Raider models and hang them on the ceiling. That way it was out of her way. I explained to her that it puts them too far away to enjoy, and all you see is the fighter bottoms. Now, I know because that was my bedroom when I was 14 years old. But if you, like me, are a fan of Battlestar Galactica and enjoyed this video, I invite you to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and share your thoughts on the Eagle Moss collection, or just say hi in the comments. Your engagement is what keeps this community alive. So, until next time, take a look at this video right over here, and take care.